everybody, I'm Sarah and I'm a recorder player. Flow My Tears, or Pavane Lachrymae, one of the most famous songs of the Renaissance. Let's hear a bit, shall we? Heartbreakingly melancholy, and probably my actual favourite piece in my new book, My Favourite Melodies for Alto. This piece inspired generations of composers that came after it, right up into a bunch of rock musicians today. But what makes it so timeless? Pavane Lachrymae was written by John Dowland, Renaissance lutenist and composer, master of the melancholy. That was his thing. He even wrote a piece called Semper Dowland, Semper Dolens, always Dowland, always doleful. But despite his glum image, he enjoyed a lot of success in his life. Rich, important employers such as King Christian of Denmark from 1598. Later in 1612, he was lutenist to King James I. He married, had children, though they were often separated due to his work. The Pavane Lachrymae first pops up in an instrumental lute collection in 1596. You can see how he's really inspired by dance music, as the pieces are all, well, dancers, slow pavanes, lively galliards. But it was in 1600 that things really took off for the piece. Dowland publishes his second book of airs, or songs, including Flow My Tears, Fall From Your Springs. This is the Pavane Lachrymae, but now with text. And what a text! Flow my tears, fall from your springs, exiled, forever let me mourn, where night's black bird her sad infamy sings, let me live forlorn. I first learned this song in high school, studying for my music A-level. Now, when you have a good teacher, you don't forget what they taught you. So I want to shout out my music teacher from then, Miss Jackson. Hi, Miss Jackson. I still remember our lesson on word painting, and I shall impart this to you now. One thing that makes Flow My Tears so effective is how Dowland emphasises the meaning of the text through the melodic line, word painting. So the first opening, falling forth, flow my tears, is a classic example of this. A falling forth meant sadness, melancholy, tears. Just listen to the difference if I sang it upwards. Flow my tears. That was a bit too jolly. So our opening, flow my tears. The falling forth is the tears. Also a falling forth, fall from your springs. The same falling forth, unembellished, exiled. When nights, the night is the most important, it's the highest note. Night's blackbird, her sad, sad, emphasised with a rising semitone. Again, a diminished falling forth, sad infamy sings. And we're brought home to the cadence with Let Me Live Forlorn. Let me just cry. It's basically leave me alone and let me cry. In fact, Dowland leaned even harder into the tears theme. In 1604, he published Lachrymae, or 7 Tears, a book with no less than 7 settings of this lachrymae falling tears motif, scored for a consort of 5 viols and lute continuo. The amazing news is that this also fits perfectly for recorder quintet. This is the dedication page where Dowland gives some nuance to these 7 tears. And though the title doth promise tears, unfit guests in joyful times, yet no doubt pleasant are the tears with which music weeps. Neither are tears shed always in sorrow, but sometimes in joy and gladness. And just look at the facsimile. The parts are arranged like this so that the musicians could sit around the table and read the music from different angles. Table music. Each lachrymae explores the da 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 motif in its own way. And this collection also has the aforementioned Semper Dowland, Semper Dolens. That's a real favourite of mine. And it has a bunch of dancers, including the Earl of Essex Galliard that I included in my first book for soprano. Do I have a soprano here? Aha! Okay, back to word painting. Here are a couple of other really nice examples. In the second part, he illustrates the text and tears and sighs and groans with hockets. What's a hocket? It's a break or rest in the music designed to create an interrupted, almost hiccuping feeling. And sighs and groans. It feels as if the singer is catching their breath between sobs and fear and grief and pain. Dowland didn't invent hockets. They were used a lot in earlier music, for example by Landini, but he makes really good use of them here. Is the subject of this song ever going to catch a break? Yes, in the third section we meet the word happy. Ah, finally! Dowland brings this out by setting it to the highest note of the whole piece. Happy, happy. However, this is Dowland we're talking about, so he immediately drags us back down. So beautifully done, and easy to hear why this song has endured. We just love to wallow in melancholy, just like my 16-year-old self who would listen to a sad song and stare out of the bus window, contemplating my cruel fate, which was obviously that the person I had a crush on didn't like me back. One thing that got me thinking, all of this talk about word painting, but the version with lyrics, text, was published 4 years after the first instrumental version. Did he go back in and re-engineer the text to fit? They're just so intertwined. I can't be sure, but one thing I do know as a composer myself is that music and poetry can live in your head for a long time before you finalise it. A likely scenario is that Dowland thought of the music with the text in mind. They evolved together. The opportunity came to include just the tune in a lute book, and as composers we take opportunities when they come. And then later he could include the full text in his later songbook. So I don't know for sure. Any musicologists here who want to weigh in? Leave it in the comments. So what happened next? Because we're not even at the important bit yet, the recorder bit. Oh my gosh, what a story. So Flow My Tears became super popular. I cannot overstate how popular this song was. It spread all over the continent. All the composers were into it. We had variations by Jan Pieter Zoon Svelink, Thomas Tomkins, John Bennett, and put the brakes on, Jacob van Eyck. If you're not sure who this is, I have other videos for you, but Van Eyck was a very important composer for the recorder. He would take popular tunes of the day and improvise variations on them. And what was the most popular Renaissance of the moment again? Yes, Van Eyck included not one, but two settings of the Pavane Lachrymae in his collection De Fluiten Lusthof. He included multiple versions only for the tunes he really loved. Your Daphne, English Nightingale, Amarelli mia bella. Now to Van Eyck. Version 1 comes early in the collection, number 8. It includes the theme, the main tune, and just one variation. A melodic mixture of different note values up to the 16th. It's quite compact. Let's hear a section. Then later at number 56, we get a more worked out version. The theme, a decoration of the theme, a version in 8th notes, and in 16th notes. This is more formulaic in rhythm, but it suggests he was having a lot of fun with this material. To bring it back to the arrangement in my book, I combined the theme with the first variation, Modo 2, from this second version. The theme and the decorated version. I felt like it was just right for this book, enough beauty without being overwhelmingly challenging in terms of technique. Then we added accompaniment taken from the original continuo. In my book we have play along audio tracks on harpsichord, and I'm so happy with the results. So some practice tips. If you are tackling Flow My Tears or Pavane Lachrymae, here are 3 tips. 1. Think of the text as you articulate. Obviously, flow won't recorder. Try it out. But these consonants, flow, fall, springs, these pull the timing back. Exiled forever, let me mourn. Those are very deliberate. Pencil the words in under your notes and it can really help with your direction and phrasing. 2. Variations. If you are playing my arrangement with the theme and then its variation per section, really try and understand how they relate to one another. For example, all connected, those B flats with some beautiful decorations in between. And again, if you have the text in mind, this will help you phrase even in those strings of faster notes. And speaking of fast notes, tip 3. For fast passages, I like to sometimes practice completely legato, no tongue at all. Why? This makes sure my sound is even, my finger combinations are clean, and my phrasing isn't all broken up. Then when it feels like one smooth line, I start adding the tongue back in. If you want to get my version, you can buy a signed book from me. It has 13 other pieces, all with play-along tracks. You can get the regular book from the publisher Shot, or you can even just download this single piece from the Shot website. Links below. So what became of this music? Flow My Tears has gained something of a cult status today. It has been recorded by various rock musicians, the most famous probably being Sting. Sting recorded a whole album of Dowland with a lutenist, but singing in his own distinctive style. It's not completely historically informed performance practice, but I think it's great. Why not experiment? And the fact that he helped to bring this repertoire to a much wider audience is fantastic. We need more of this. More of famous musicians playing classical instruments too, like Lizzo playing the flute. And Sting wasn't the only one. More recently was the incredible duo Nora Fisher and Marnix Dorrestein. Their album Hush explored Renaissance song in a modern vocal style with electric guitar. It's phenomenal, and it won an Edison, which is like a Dutch Grammy. This was a journey. I feel like there is still loads I haven't said because the history of Dowland and this song is just so rich. What else? Dowland was also thought to be a spy. People were suspicious because he earned loads of money. He almost got tied up in a treasonous plot. There's loads more Dowland lore out there, but I hope I've given you enough to wet your whistle. Oh, sorry, I won't say that again. Anything else you want to know or want to contribute, share it in the comments. As always, you can subscribe to Team Recorder by clicking on my face down here in the corner. Over here's the web shop where you can order your signed copy of either My Favourite Melodies book, and here are some more videos. Thanks for watching and have a great day.